And the first time Ewan McGregor and I had to draw our lightsabers, I remember we both made the sound at the exact same time. George said, "Boys, you don't have to do that. We can add that stuff." Oh, okay, sorry.
The Force of Others, a Star Wars podcast.
Hello there, and welcome to The Force of Others. I'm Matt Beutner.
I'm Zachary Owen Turner, and today we're talking about A New Hope returning for the 50th anniversary to theaters, Liam Neeson not liking his Star Wars death, and we're going to preview all the stuff at Rebel Scum Con, because by the time this episode comes out, we will be at the Frisco Convention Center in North Dallas, on the ground. So if you're listening or watching right now and are at the convention, come find us. We'll be in our Force of Others merch in some way or another, but come and find us. And if we have time, we're also going to interview one of my good friends, Sam Hardy, in a really fun interview. We also did a this or that with lightsaber hilts, so cool. It's quite a fun little interview. But before we get to all of that, we are going to head straight into the mailbag with a question from Rocky Westbrook. Rocky asked, who would you want to have a lightsaber duel with if you had to fight someone? Matt?
So, I am not a sword fighter, obviously, nor am I a Jedi, as unfortunately we live in a Jedi-less reality. But, so if I had to fight somebody, the easy answer, someone else has handled a lightsaber, Wim from Skeleton Crew, automatic win. Automatic win, right? But if I had to fight anybody, then I was like, okay, well, who would I most like to fight? Just because I think they are the most, they're the most in need of defeat, I guess. The one, the not to be Sithy about it, but the one that, like, I hate the most, probably Palpatine.
Oh.
I would die. I'm not, I'm aware I would lose. But, yeah, that's the one that it's most like, yeah, I don't have any qualms about this. Let's fight. Yeah, that's my answer. What about you?
Yeah, so I thought about this a couple of times. Again, I have done a little bit of sword fighting. I do some in the past. So I have a little bit more training than the average person. However, a lightsaber is not a sword, and a lightsaber does not move like a sword. I mean, it does, but it really doesn't when you think about the physics of it. So I don't know, probably somebody that I could defeat pretty easily so I don't die. I'll throw around the gauntlet and say Jecki from the Acolyte.
You think he would win?
I don't know, maybe. I think I would have more of a chance than... She's not a Jedi Knight yet. I don't know.
She does hold
let's
off
be
the
honest.
stranger for a bit until he goes...
Yeah.
And then 3-hole punches her.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as coolness goes, like the fight that I would want to be in, or what character I would want to fight for an epic, lightsaber fight, would probably be, on the flip side, the Stranger or Darth Maul, because both are amazing martial artists and, just so cool and done so well, and I would love to I would love to die to either of them. I think that would be a cool, if I'm in Star Wars and I'm a Jedi that, we don't see later or before, I would love to be in a Jedi robes holding off for a good 5-10 seconds and then I die. I'll be the next Sith kebab, all right? Sign me up.
Well, but then
casting directors, you heard it here. I'm open. Unlike Liam Neeson, I'm open to being faking out to the head and then killed in the gut, all right?
there's a plug, a preview for later in the episode. But to keep it or I guess to add a question, so let's say you have to, Star Wars is real and death is real and scary. Who would you most not want to have a lightsaber duel with? You only get one. Who would you least want to fight? To have to fight?
I don't know if it's just recency bias, but there is something just so savage and brutal about the Stranger. With the cortosis and all that, and the helmet and the. Yeah. I think that's the one I'd be like, yeah, bye.
I mean, yeah. The real answer
I'm running the other way.
The real answer is any of them.
Yeah.
Any of them, but I think there's something scary in such a different way about Darth Vader. And that he's
Yeah.
never running, but it's the Michael Myers thing, right? He just doesn't stop coming. He's still coming.
Yeah.
Just slowly walking, like striding, but just stalking you. Something about that's creepy. But there's our answer.
But no, I have one more thing to add.
Oh, please.
Because I also was thinking about this. It doesn't say in Star Wars.
Oh,
So the person
okay.
I want to have a lightsaber fight with is you, Matt Boitner.
I'm
calling you out.
and I'm gonna win.
I don't know what that voice was, but I don't know. Yeah, because we texted about that the other day because of Rebel Scum Con, we're going to be in the same place. And so I
Yeah.
was like, buddy, we got to film a lightsaber duel. He said, do we have room? I said, I'll make some.
Do we have lightsabers? Is my real question.
That's a better question.
We could go to like Walmart and get some of those like.
Dueling sabers, no. Just sabers.
I have
that
one. I
look
just
pretty.
don't think I can get it.
You can't
down there.
Yeah. Well, and the Galaxy's Edge lightsaber that I have, you can't duel with those, dog. Like that's not what it's for. But anyway, yeah, we'll fight at some point. And you have sword fighting training. I don't. So
It's different. It's
I'll
different.
Indiana Jones
I
it.
know how to make it look pretty.
Well, we all know how to make it look pretty. Like, okay, but there's our answer. So send your questions to forcefeathersradio@gmail.com. If you've got any mailbag questions, or if you want to talk sword fighting techniques with Zach. But in the meantime, we've had some real life weeks and hopefully some Star Wars adventures. Zach, how was your week, and how did Star Wars find you this week?
Yeah, my week was good. First week, like, fully immersed in the new job, and things are smooth and nice, and I get to be outside sometimes, and it's really, blinding at times, but also very nice at others. Because we get the sun from two angles, because it reflects off a skyscraper, so at one point I literally feel like a little ant being, like, magnified. But that's only for about 30 minutes, and then the rest is really nice. But as far as I also went and saw a movie. I went and saw Fantastic Four: First Steps in IMAX, which was fun. Saw it with a good friend of mine. Shout out to Chris if he is listening. But yeah, it was a good movie. I teared up. It's a good movie about family. I will say though, after watching Superman, I was kind of riding that Superman high, and I was like, man, people are saying this movie is also just as good. And it's good, but it's not as good as Superman. I think everybody does their job well. Like, no one is, like, not pulling their weight. And it's completely watchable and fun. Of the Marvel stuff to come out in recent stuff, I really liked it. But, I don't know, I was just riding that, like, super fun comic booky Superman wave. And so I think I was let down just a little bit. But that's just because I was comparing it to something else. But it was still very emotional and cool, and I'm excited to see where that leads for Doomsday.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how pop culture found me. As far as Star Wars found me, I've just been talking about Rebel Scum Con with my coworkers. They're like, you're only working one day next week? I was like, yes, because my podcast got press passes. We're going. So
Yeah.
Got to seem legit to my new coworkers.
Little do they know. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
What
little
about
do
you?
they know that we are posers. Work. That was my week. But, Star Wars did find me. But before I get to that, I just wanted to point out, my wife and I went to a Harry Potter birthday celebration yesterday, at the time of recording, at a place called Birdie's Social Club in downtown Fort Worth. It was a cool little kind of outdoor bar, and they had a bunch of like vendors setting up that were like selling like custom Harry Potter merch and stuff, and so it was cute. And my wife is a huge Potterhead, so it was fun. They had this big screen where they were like projecting a Harry Potter movie, and I was like, okay, Jen, don't look at the screen first because I want to see if I can get it in 10 seconds. If you see it, I'll know what the movie is based on your reaction, right? So don't do that, right? But we came around the corner, and just the way we came in, she saw it first. And I was like, don't. She went, and started giggling, and I was like, okay, so it's the third one. It's your favorite movie, right? For sure. And then sure enough, I saw the screen, and I was like, yep, it's the third one. All right. So
Well, she's
So I
right. The
got
third
it,
one
but-
is the best movie. So.
Well, that'll make her very happy to hear that you say that. The first thing I ever saw of Harry Potter, and this I was in high school, and I was very much like, I don't like Harry Potter, and just from being a jerk. And the first thing I ever saw was the third movie, and specifically, I walked into the room, the movie had just started, and it was the scene where Harry's yelling at what's-her-name, and she raises her finger at him, and it inflates, and then she inflates like a balloon and flies away. All of my Harry Potter grumblies were confirmed in that moment. I was like, what is this? People like this? And then it went, because I saw the campiest and silliest that the franchise is as my first impression. Anyway, but as for how Star Wars found me, my dad texted again. I guess he listened to that episode where I talked about the Jedi mustard bicycle jerseys that he encountered on his bike ride across Iowa, and he's like, yeah, I wanted to clarify, because he ran into them again on the same ride. I guess they were still wearing the same jerseys, which is disgusting. Hopefully they washed them. But
Maybe they have multiple sets.
Could very well be. Could very well be. But he said that it's a pun on Jedi Master. And I was like, oh, I could have, you'd think I would have figured that out. But the two other ways Star Wars found me, there was a lot this week, at that Birdie's Social Club deal. I don't have really any Harry Potter merch, so I shamelessly wore our podcast merch hat and not this Star Wars shirt, but one of the many others that I have, right? Because it's like, I'll rep some nerd, but I don't have any Harry Potter stuff. We walked in, and the first people we met were like, she looked at me, and she's like, oh, you'll be happy to know my dog's named Rey from Star Wars. And I was like, right on.
Cool.
And I should have gotten a picture with Rey the dog, but I didn't. But what I did get a picture of, my mom sent me just the view from the hotel she was staying at. My mom is currently on vacation in the UK. And so she sent me a picture from the view outside her hotel in Scotland, because she's traveling around right now. And she was like, look at this, how pretty it is. And Zach, look at this now. And so I looked at this wide shot, and I was like, oh, cool, somebody walking his dog. And then I zoomed in on the dog picture, and I was like, what shirt is he wearing? And I zoomed in again. This dude's wearing a Star Wars shirt randomly in Scotland, and that's the picture that my mom got, and it was not of this person. And I was just like, again, I don't do this. Star Wars finds me. That's just how it goes. I thought it was hilarious. And I texted Mom. I was like, did you take the picture because of that shirt? She's like, no, I didn't even notice. It's like, so it's always there wherever you are in the world.
Man, knowing how much your mom loves, the royal family and all that, she must be having a great time.
Oh, she's, as much as we're about to fanboy at Rebel Scum Con this weekend, she is actively fanboying all over the United Kingdom. She sent so many pictures, and she'll just be geeking out about tea and British people upon her return. Fun. But so Star Wars is everywhere, and very soon Star Wars will be 50 years old. And with a story on that, I'm handing it over to Zach.
Yeah, so Star Wars will be returning to theaters for the 50th anniversary. So, on April 30th, 2027, we'll celebrate the 50th anniversary of Star Wars with the re-release of the 1977 classic back for a limited time in theaters everywhere. It will play over the May 4th holiday, also known as Star Wars Day, which, duh. And, yeah, be on the lookout. I mean, that's 2 years away, but it's still very exciting. I am curious what version of A New Hope we will get, because they have the ability to do something amazing here, which is re-release the original. I don't know
they
what
just screened it.
Oh, did they?
They just screened
That's
it like a month or so ago. Kathleen Kennedy, I don't remember where it was, but it was at some film con thing, and they screened in a quote-unquote original printing of Star Wars Episode 4.
I mean, if they do that, they will make so much money. It seems like a no-brainer. I wonder what the contract with George Lucas, when they bought it from him, what that says about it, because he might have had stipulations like, no, only my version with all the stuff,
Well, I mean, if you ask him, that's what he says Star Wars is the latest version. I'm still surprised that they were able to show a screening of a quote unquote, and I keep saying quote unquote because if you see any interview Steve Sansweet has ever given, Lucasfilm head of fan relations for like 30 years, Star Wars was being edited after the first premiere.
Yeah.
Like, it was constantly being tinkered with. George didn't start tinkering with the special editions, right? He was, I mean, when it was re-released as Star Wars Episode 4, right? Like, that wasn't, anyway. So who knows? But I'm hyped. I'm so hyped.
Yeah.
Last time I saw Star Wars Episode 4 in theaters was the special edition releases, which was in 1997. I was 8. This will be 30 years later.
Yeah.
The only other opportunity you would have had to see Episode 4 in the theater would have been, like, leading up to Force Awakens and a couple of the sequels. They did like a
full marathon, right?
Right, and I always had work or something. Otherwise, you couldn't have... You had to pay me to get me to not be there, is quite literally what happened. But the thing that has me most excited is just for... And this is, you know, this could mean nothing, but to see in print that this is, quote-unquote, part of Lucasfilm's year-long 50th anniversary celebration.
Oh, you think they're just going to go one after the other?
No. I just think that they're going to do that just to see that it's part of a year-long celebration of the 50th anniversary of Star Wars is that they're going to do things all that whole year. Makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Because it's weird, like, when it bugs me when big franchises like this don't do things to acknowledge their history and the big anniversaries. So, like Force Awakens turns 10 in 4 months. Lucasfilm's doing nothing. And I know it's because they're trying to distance themselves from all the negative fan discourse about the sequels, which I get. But I mean, still, dude, you still made it. And it still made $2 billion. But anyway, I'm hyped. I'm looking forward to 2027, Star Wars Celebration, the Lucasfilm Museum of Narrative Art, and a re-release of Star Wars Episode 4. Man.
Big year.
Man. Big year. Well, and it'll be another full Star Wars day because we'll have New Hope re-release, and there will likely be another Tales of show, right, coming out that same weekend. And Starfighter will be coming out at the end of May. So I'm saying we're gonna be full. We'll be full. We're eating so much.
As podcasters, we're gonna have lots of content.
Woo! Yeah, maybe hey, put this out in the universe and just kind of will this into existence. We'll have some kind of Force of Others meetup at a theater or something to go see Star Wars for the 50th anniversary. That would be cool. But if nothing else, for sure, we're going to do some kind of meetup at Star Wars Celebration. I don't know if we have enough fans to do a meetup. Maybe we will.
That's 2 years from now.
In 2 years. But one way or another, I will be at Star Wars Celebration. We hope that Zach can come too. My piggy bank is slowly growing to justify the trip to L.A. But there's no real segue off of anything that I just said. But I was able to say it. Variety, for a couple years now, has done these YouTube videos of blank actor breaks down their quote-unquote most iconic roles, which, as a Star Wars content creator, I'm like, okay, whenever a Star Wars actor shows up, there's going to be a Star Wars segment, and Liam Neeson didn't disappoint. Promoting The Naked Gun, talking all about Star Wars Episode 1. Oh, yeah, well, it's got Seth MacFarlane was apparently heavily involved in this, and so he tends to not make crap if he actually gets to make the movie. And the Naked Gun movies are just the ultimate guilty pleasure. They're up there with Airplane, if you've never seen one. But either way, but talking about Star Wars, I got 2 clips that I pulled from this video. The first one we'll talk about first is just Liam Neeson didn't like Qui Gon Jinn's death. So let's hear what he had to say.
I thought my death was a bit namby-pamby. I'm supposed to be a master Jedi, you know. My character fell for that. Oh, I'm going for your face. No, I'm not. I'm going for your stomach. Oh, you got me. Oh, please. Hardly a master Jedi. But still, it was great.
Okay, so Zach, what's your reaction to Liam Neeson hating Qui Gon Jinn's death that much?
Yeah, I mean, so I hate it now because how many people have we've seen get stabbed in the stomach and live? So I also am like, but I don't hate his death. I hate all of the modern ones that not deaths that happen. And it's like, you got stabbed in the middle of your thing with the lightsaber. Guess what? You're okay. But I get it. You know, he couldn't get to a medical professional in time, and he also was, you know, cauterized and dying very quickly. I understand not liking the choreography, but I love the death of Qui Gon. I think it's beautiful. I understand where he's coming from because he also played Roy Rogers. No, Roy. Not Roy Rogers.
Rob Roy.
Rob Roy.
Roy Rogers is a cowboy.
Yep, Rob Roy, which is has one of the greatest sword fighting scenes in cinema history. So I get where he's probably coming from. Like, I'm better than that, you know. And yeah, they could have done some other stuff, but he also hits him in the face. He doesn't just like fake him out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he like knocks him.
No, yeah, he hits him with the hilt of the saber, knocks him back, and then gets him in the tummy.
I get it, but also it's still fine to me. What about you?
I think it's hilarious that he's salty about it. I thought that was very, very fun. It never bugged me. I've always loved that moment. I think it is very character driven. It shows how young and athletic and quick Darth Maul is, and how like older Qui-Gon Jinn is, because it's just Maul wearing him down. That whole fight is so It's very choreo driven, of course, but once it's those two together, I still love that scene of Obi-Wan having to watch Maul just wear down Qui-Gon, just kind of chip away, just making the old man tired and tired and tired, and then he cheats. He hits him in the face and stabs him. Yeah. He does not out-duel him. He cheats, right?
One of my favorite thing in sword fighting is punches.
Yeah.
Because it comes out of nowhere, like you're like so focused on the sword, you know? I love it.
Cheater. Cheater.
No. It's a fight.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But, okay, but then I've also got another clip here. Liam Neeson telling a funny story that I have heard other places, but I wanted to drop it here. And so first, let's talk about what happened the first time Liam and Ewan McGregor turned on their lightsabers while filming.
And the first time Ewan McGregor and I had to draw our lightsabers, you know. I remember we both made the sound at the exact same time. George said, "Boys, you don't have to do that. We can add that stuff." Oh, okay, sorry.
Love that. Yeah, I'd heard that before, but you never know with these behind the scenes stories what's like real and what's an actor memory. But to hear him say it again, it just probably shows that both of them were just they were kids.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They were getting to be children on screen.
This is funny because I've heard of that Ewan McGregor had to be edited out all the time for making the sounds, but I didn't know that. I haven't heard that Liam had also done it, which, you know, it's just something that we all do. You turn it on, you go, you know.
Yeah. So. And just that they're on the set of Star Wars Episode 1 shooting, and they can't help themselves. It's also, Liam Neeson made a pretty good lightsaber sound effect there. Yeah. It was creative. Yeah. But he goes on to talk. Oh, I'm saying he is Qui-Gon Jinn. But he goes on to talk about George Lucas's directing style or lack thereof, and I think this is a funny clip. So let's hit the next one.
George doesn't like directing. Period. He told me that. He'd finish a scene, he'd say, "Natalie, a little bit faster. Liam, a little bit faster there." Editing, sweet. Afterwards, that's when he starts enjoying the process, but actually directing actors and stuff. He told me he doesn't like it at all.
Hilarious.
So funny.
So this calls to mind the fantastic behind-the-scenes documentary of Star Wars Episode 1, the making of that movie. It's called Star Wars The Beginning, which was one of the early titles of Episode 1. And you see that. You see George literally directing into the editing suite and getting to play with kind of taking two different cuts together and cutting the camera basically in half and making what George Lucas calls a supercut. He's like, well, I liked that way they read that line but I like the way so-and-so reads this line, so can we just kind of cut the film in half, like, digitally,
Wow.
right? Because they hadn't really done that before. And so it's... Yeah, and you hear the same thing about behind the scenes of Star Wars Episode 4, that the whole cast would be like, George doesn't like directing. We'd ask him for a note, and he would just say, faster, more intense, let's go again. And that's about it. He doesn't. He's not a people person. He when you think about how he grew up as like a car mechanic and a drag racer, and then his early films were intended to be weird, and like almost like found footage and stuff. I just think it's super hilarious to hear Liam Neeson say that. Yeah, George told me he doesn't like directing. It's very funny. But what was your response to all that?
Oh, no, I think it's hilarious. I think it makes sense. I mean, he is that... There are different types of creatives, right? Like, there's... I don't want to say left brain, right brain, but like that... Yeah. Like, there are people that are like, cool, I want to sit in my studio and paint a bunch. Like, when we went to the Frazetta Museum, I know I bring it up a lot, they talked about how he would go into his, like pieces he had finished and, like, just, like, oh, I'm going to fix the face. I'm going to fix the face. Ooh, hold on. I'm going to fix the face. One of which was so much that the face was almost falling off when they sold it, but it's that thing. And George is that way. He's the master editor. He's the master, he's the big brain. He's the one that oversees everything and has the big vision. And I think that's why some of those sequels that he doesn't direct are so good, because he's still involved in the process of Empire and Return of the Jedi, but he's not having to talk to the actors. He's like, cool, no, that's great. You do your job and get them to do what I want. I'm going to put it all together. Which is what a director does, But
it was the same thing with Clone Wars, right? Yeah. Filoni is so open about all the time that, like, Darth Maul coming back was a George Lucas idea. Yeah. Right? And that Filoni was like, I don't know if we can make that work. And George's like, we're doing it. Bring it back with spider legs, like the comic. And George is one of the most uncontained, unafraid, just brave creatives that we've ever had.
Yeah. Right?
He doesn't care what you want to do. There's somebody made fun of it at one point, I don't remember. Everybody says that you should paint your house green. Well, I'm going to paint it Jar Jar. And that's not something he literally said, but just that he doesn't care. He's going to do what he wants to do, and it's going to be weird and completely unpredictable. Yeah. But that's what made Star Wars Star Wars. That he just had the bravery to do what other people weren't willing to do. I got one more clip from Liam Neeson in which we get a treat as Star Wars fans. You get to hear a Liam Neeson impression of Watto. Here we go.
No way.
I remember I had a scene with the kid that was going to be Darth Vader, lovely wee actor, and this flying, talk like that, which I'd never seen before. So I'm getting my makeup on that morning, and Morag was my makeup lady, I remember. I said, Morag, this is quite a big scene. I have quite a bit of dialogue with this thing. And she said, Liam, you could be a monkey smoking a pipe. No one's going to be looking at you. They're all going to be looking at this thing, which was kind of true,
All right. Zach, what's your response to that?
Watto lives rent-free in my head, mainly because of the Jedi pod racer game, because anytime you finished a race, he would come in and he'd go so I love it. I think his impression is spot on, and I love that he was like, yeah, I'm a little nervous, and she's like, bro, they're not even gonna look at you.
Yeah, that's so funny. Well, and I'm just still stuck on Liam Neeson's like Watto impression. And before we say anything
Republic
else,
credits don't work here. I'm going to be at Rebel Scum Con.
Yeah, I was literally going to say. Andy Succombe, the voice of Watto, will be at Rebel Scum Con. And I wonder how often at cons he has to deal with fans walking up and trying to give him Republic credits and being like, Are these good here? And he's probably just like, what is this?
Only money.
But yeah, just to hear a Liam Neeson impression is so funny. And it's wild to think about. You got to remember, 1999, it was not the foregone conclusion that it is now to act with CG characters.
Yeah.
Right? That was a new thing that these actors didn't know how to deal with, which is just wild to think about. But, okay. So, Zach, I forgot. Where are we going to be this weekend?
We're going to be at a Star Wars convention together for the first time in 13 or 14 years. The
14
foundation, 14, the foundation of this podcast and our friendship was Matt and I driving down from Oklahoma City University to Dallas for a Fan Days convention.
Star Wars Fan Days.
Where we met Billy D. We've put up the picture millions of times. But that was literally where our friendship was molded, because we were both in a music fraternity, and he was like, you like Star Wars, come with me. And I was like, yes, let's do it. Person I've known for maybe 2 weeks. And it worked out to a beautiful friendship. But yeah, we're going to be at Rebel Scum Con at the Frisco Convention Center, August 7th through the 10th.
8th through 10th.
Sorry, 8th through the 10th. I will be there the 7th through the 10th, because that's the day I fly in. But yeah, there's so much happening. I mean, you can go to their website to find all of the guests, but the main people, David W. Collins, Sam Witwer, Katie Sackhoff, Wedge, everybody. There's so many people. I can't get over how many people are actually going to be at this convention. It feels like a mini Star Wars celebration. I mean, they really shout out to our friends over at Rebel Scum Con. You really have done such an amazing job at bringing so many people together for this convention. So much so that I'm so hyped. I didn't know if I was going to be able to come, but I am, and I'm so excited. We are going to have so much stuff to talk about. Matt, any thoughts before we get into the panel schedule and all of that?
Just that I'm hyped. This will be a day long remembered. What a hive of scum and villainy we're about to enter into, because we are Rebel Scum. And I also want to point out, using a drop that I have never used, but I've had ready for quite some time. So you can still get tickets to Rebel Scum Con. And so here's Zach telling you what will happen if you can do that.
We have the giveaway for you, and you can come to Rebel Scum Con.
What a strange way to say.
We have the giveaway for you, and you can come to Rebel Scum Con.
One more time.
We have the giveaway for you, and you can come to Rebel Scum Con. I stand by that, Reed.
And you can come to Rebel Scum Con. Anyway, shout out Monet Rev on Instagram. She was the winner of our giveaway, as we listed several weeks ago.
And now she can come to Rebel Scum Con.
There it is.
I was trying to do like a Clone Wars-esque, Rebel Scum Con happening at Frisco Convention Center.
Yeah, it's got the voice like this. We have the giveaway for you. Oh my gosh. Star Wars fan giveaway, and you can come to Rebel Scum Con. Anyway, but as for what you can do at Rebel Scum Con, everybody go to rebelscumconventions.com and then click on events and activities, and you can see what we're looking at. I'll share the thing on the actual video, but for now, Zach and I are quite literally going to plan what panels we're going to try to go to.
Yeah.
Sidebar, I have never been to the Frisco Conference Center. I did not go to Rebel Scum Con year one, so I don't know what the lines are going to be like.
Poser.
But, yeah, for real. But I'm just going to hope that all of these will work. And let's kind of list the panels that we're for sure going to go to, outside of just walking the floor and spamming people with microphones and, farming content and Star Wars opinions. Because that's what we're about. Not necessarily spamming people, but I will do whatever I need to do to get your Star Wars opinions. So, okay. The first one that I for sure want to go to, just looking at Friday, I think is the 3 o'clock Star Wars game show party.
Yeah.
hosted by the podcast Skywalking Through Neverland. So before that might actually be the most just con walking that we're doing, unless we're able to go to just the welcome panel.
Yeah.
At noon. That might be the move.
I mean,
actually,
the thing that we've said we will 100% be for sure be on, and if I need to skip the game show party to be in this one, will be the 4:00 soundtrack show with David W. Collins.
Oh, yeah.
It might be the thing I
definitely.
am most hyped for.
Yes.
This is if you don't know, we're going to plug another podcast real quick.
Yeah,
the soundtrack show started as the Star Wars Oxygen on another Star
Rebel
Wars
Force
podcast.
Radio. Yeah,
yes.
We'll name drop him.
And he literally, as two people who have degrees in music, he like musically analyzes, in layman's terms, soundtracks, and does a whole suite of John Williams and Danny Elfman, and has he done Howard Shore yet? If he hasn't,
I think he's done like
he
every major movie soundtrack at this point. I'm pretty sure.
But it's amazing. My favorite thing that he's ever pointed out, which is what I sell the show with, is at the end of episode 1 when they're lifting up the orb and everybody's like singing and happy. It goes da 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 ba. And then it zooms into Palpatine smiling because he's the one that's won, and he literally has won because they are singing the Emperor's theme in a major key, and it is the coolest thing that John Williams has ever done. And thank you, David W. Collins, for pointing it out.
100%.
But yeah, I'm just so hyped about that.
No, I'm definitely I am about that. I mean, so
no
yeah,
offense
so Friday...
to the game show party, but
no, yeah, that is the one thing that I don't know that we're gonna. Let's go ahead and say it right now. The first place you could try to meet up with us is at the Welcome to RSC 2nd Edition.
Yeah.
That opening panel, because I want to see what the line system is like, and if how early we're gonna need to be in line for things.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would really love. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely choosing soundtrack show over Lights and Magic. There's ILM Legends on panel room A on Friday at 4, but the soundtrack show with David W. Collins, that's something I've been wanting to see for a long time.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, outside of that, that's really what I want to see on Friday.
There is one other panel that I'm pretty interested in.
Yeah.
Which is just as a professional bartender, the mocktails from the cantina with Chris Mocked sounds really fun.
Yeah.
just to pique my interest of a person who makes cocktails for.
Well, I'm trying to remember who Chris Mocked is.
So on IMDb, Chris Mocked is a graduate from Columbia College. It looks like he worked on The Force Within Us, The Force Among Us.
Oh!
And he has a special called Mocktails from the Cantina.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no, yeah, we should go to that if we can. Mm-hmm. The Force Among Us and The Force Within Us, fantastic Star Wars fan documentaries, and that kind of inspired, in a way, the name that I don't remember if it was a me or a you or both of us, but The Force of Others for this podcast.
Yeah.
It's very much, it's documentaries about Star Wars fandom.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, duh. Yeah, no, Chris Mocked is cool. We should try to go to this. Mm-hmm. Really, I want to try to go to all of these panels, but we're trying to tell you the ones that we're for sure prioritizing.
And I know that's hard because at the same time we also have The Emperor's Hand with Shannon McRandall, and we're both reading Heir to the Empire right now. So
yeah, well, and Shannon McRandall was the actor that they picked to basically portray Mara Jade on trading cards. Yeah. So she was the first person to ever embody the character that wasn't. She was the first actual person.
Yeah.
And really the only to ever embody Mara Jade. So that's super cool. There are lots of deep cut people coming to this Rebel Scum Con. And I should say, yeah, we have press passes. They're not paying us. We're just stoked.
Yeah.
We just want to go to this party. But that I think that's pretty much Friday.
We might go to Rebel Credits are no good here, but
I feel like
see.
we have to.
Yeah.
After we just did so many impressions of the voice, we've got to. But moving on to the busiest day for the con, Saturday, man, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
So there are so many things. behind the scenes stuff for Empire. There's Skeleton Crew. There's so much stuff taking place.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of what I for sure. I mean, 1 o'clock. Dark Side of the Clone Wars with Sam Witwer and Matthew Wood.
If we can go,
Matthew Wood is another deep Lucasfilm cut. He's basically the guy that took over the role of Ben Burt as like the head of ILM sound and stuff.
I'm going to.
And Zach's got a picture with him and D. Bradley Baker. He's taking us on a tour of his apartment, and you can kind of. There's a little bit of a glare, but I'll show. Yeah, Zach pulled a blaster on Matthew Wood and D. Bradley Baker, and they pictured this moment. Yes, and they pictured this moment as they got revealed to be Jedi in real life. But Dark Side of the Clone Wars, I mean, Sam Witwer and Matthew Wood. Basically, anything Witwer does, I'm going to want to go. I will want to be there.
Yep.
Because then, right after that panel, spoilers, we're going to get our picture taken with Sam.
Woo!
Yeah, let's go. And then, I mean, well, then we got a choice to make. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe not, because there's Rebels of the original trilogy with Dennis Lawson, Richard Oldfield, and Dermot Crowley, 3 like extras, but rebels from the original trilogy.
Not
and that's
extras. That's Wedge.
Yeah, but like, I mean,
he's not an extra.
I mean, kinda. I love me some Wedge Antilles, but like,
he's the best A-wing fighter out there, Matt.
X-wing, bro.
But he's also an A-wing fighter. Like he's known as like one of the best A-wing fighters as well.
When does he fly an A-wing?
In the books.
What books?
In the books, they talk about it.
When?
Wedge Antilles is like the A-wing fighter. I'm gonna lure you.
You gonna try? When
try.
does he fly an A-wing?
I don't think he ever does in the movies, which is why I remember reading this book and being like, best A-wing fighter, all right.
I mean, are we talking Aftermath, or is this Legend stuff? It might have
been Aftermath.
Fascinating audio, everyone.
Sorry.
As we fight about the ship that Wedge Antilles flies. I mean, he does in the Rogue Squadron game, but like...
Yeah. He flies
but he's not
A-wings.
Okay, well, I'm gonna...
I'll have to find the receipts and we'll plug them in later, but...
All right. Okay, well, anyway, the point is, there's Rebels from the original trilogy that are there. This is actually going to be boring audio. This is not as interesting as I thought it was, because really I want to go to all this stuff. But the ones I want to prioritize are Dark Side of the Clone Wars with Witwer and Wood.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you can go back to back on panels, because I'd love to see Rebels of the original trilogy and the hands that built Star Wars with Lauren Peterson. Lauren Peterson, one of the main model makers from the original trilogy. I would really love to hear what he has to say. And then, of course, there's an Andor panel. No, we don't. That panel, Rebels starts at 3, and Lauren Peterson starts at 4. So it'll go back to back. I don't know if it's the type of thing that you have to leave to fill in for the next one, or if you can stay. I don't know. But then there's an Andor panel at 6. Kyle Solar, who played, Cyril.
Yeah.
And Piero Neilme, who was Mon Mothma's attaché. Erskine Samaj.
And Robert Ems,
he's not going to be there. He had to bow out, actually.
Oh, no.
He can't come. Yeah, Lonnie can't come.
Well, he did get killed on a bench, so...
hopefully he's not actually dead.
No. Sorry.
But,
might be a poor joke. If it is, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he's not. He's not. But then there's a panel of Mandalorian extras: Katie Sackhoff, Emily Swallow, Tate Fletcher, Simon.
You gotta stop calling these people extras, Matt. That is very.
I mean, these aren't extras. These are co-leads. I know. These are supporting characters.
Yeah,
the Rebels are extras.
If I heard that somebody was like, "Yeah, that extra," because I've been an extra on set. It's not the same thing.
Not. Anyway, I'm not trying to diminish their presence. But in the meantime, there's an animation celebration panel. Taylor Gray, Honor Graves, and Christopher Sean. Ezra, Omega, and, the lead on Resistance, whose name I can't remember right now, all on the same panel. Also awesome. So there's a lot to go.
Nice thing about Under the Beskar is they have a satellite holding room for the other panel, so it seems
same thing for Andor. So
it seems like we'll be able to go to those two.
Yeah. And then Sunday, usually as conventions go, a little more chill vibe. There's there's 3 panels that I for sure want to see.
Yeah.
Skywalker Sound with Matthew Wood and David Collins.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
I want to hear all of the behind-the-scenes stuff about ILM Sound. Force Unleashed reunion with Sam Witwer and David Collins.
Yep.
So, I keep saying this David Collins guy, and Zach talked about him too. Host of the soundtrack show, Star Wars Oxygen before that. Before that, he was one of the main sound designers for LucasArts, back when Lucasfilm had a video game company. And he is responsible for Sam Witwer being involved in Star Wars. The story goes that Witwer has told many times, it'll probably tell on this panel, that Witwer and Collins became buddies just because they're nerds, and Witwer didn't even really know that David worked for ILM. And then at one point, David called him randomly, like one evening. It was like, hey, send me your headshot and reel, like, immediately. And he was like, why? And he basically said, Darth Vader has a secret apprentice, and it looks just like you. Like, the concept art looked like Sam Witwer.
Mm-hmm.
And so they snuck it into the pile of headshots, and that's how Sam Witwer booked Starkiller for the Force Unleashed video games. And then because he was in their pipeline and did a good job, and also convinced them to let him play Palpatine because he's got a great Palpatine, he was in the pipeline to be considered for the Son, for Clone Wars, and then, of course, brought back a year later to do Darth Maul, and is still working for Lucasfilm today. So there's a nerdy history you don't need to know. I wasn't there for any of this. I've just heard the stories.
Also, David W. Collins and Sam Witwer also often do ADR on stuff together because they're really good at improving. In The Force Awakens, they were the 2 stormtroopers that are like, hey, what about these new blasters? And they're like, not as good as the old blasters, which is a callback to the original movie. But I also, a small way, Star Wars family, they also just did ADR work on Fantastic Four together.
Yes. And I think Superman, too, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. They're in that loop group. Is what it's called. It's called the loop group. I'm trying to get
probably just everything Skywalker Sound messes with. They're on the call sheet.
Yeah.
But
nice little paycheck.
But yeah, and then of course the first time they collaborated was Force Unleashed. David Collins voiced Proxy.
Yeah.
Starkiller's droid sidekick, who he was a stand-in voice for forever. They were going to get somebody else to do it, like someone with a little more like name power, and he crushed it. And so I don't remember, but they eventually decided to keep David Collins as the voice of Proxy.
Yeah.
And also, I know we're just kind of we love these guys, but look up on Sam Witwer's Twitch channel. I think he has these videos still up of him and Collins doing a kind of a creator commentary as they play through The Force Unleashed.
Cool.
It is very, very fun. It's a good time.
Yeah.
And then something that I'm really curious about what this is, classic Star Wars Marvel comic read-through.
Yeah.
This is on Panel Room B. This is at 2 o'clock. Star Wars Annual 3, The Apprentice, which I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to look that up. But I guess I could have before this moment. But either way, and then there's a Revenge of the Sith panel with a lot of supporting cast members.
And, leads as well, because Matthew Wood is one of the lead villains.
Is General Grievous.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. So, yeah, I didn't mention the thing that most people would know Matthew Wood for, General Grievous. And the voice of all the B-1 battle droids.
Yeah.
The other big thing, this is extra tickets, but or extra money for this ticket, but Katie Sackhoff, who plays Bo-Katan, she's doing a live recording of a podcast episode with special guest Emily Swallow, who's the armorer. Might look into that for Sunday at noon. We will see. But there's going to be lots going on. None of that is even counting all the artists that are going to be at Rebel Scum Con. Tom Hodges is going to be there. Lots of others are going to be there. But there is going to be a lot to do at this con. We just wanted to kind of talk about if you're going to try and run into us, these would be the panels to try and spam us with your presence.
Yeah. Also, please do. If you listen to this podcast and or watch it and are going, we want to interact with you. Like we are so excited to interact with a bunch of people. But like we if you are one of our actual fans and listeners, please find us. I'll be the tall one. Matt'll be the short one. Yeah.
I don't know that we have enough fans that there are going to be people that are at this thing that'll know who we are that I don't already know are going to be there. But if you are, come up to us if we don't already come up to you. Because there will be part of the con that we're just walking around with tiny mics, just asking people Star Wars-y questions.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's other. I was wrong. There's other stuff. The creator panel could be interesting to go to.
Yeah.
And
I'm also curious
just,
about the building, the Beskar Forging 101. I'm curious to see what that would be.
It's got to be like a cosplay panel.
Either that or, I mean, would it be like Forged in Fire-esque panel? Like, I don't know. We're going to look into that one.
Probably not. Yeah. I'll ask around. I'll reach out to Bobby Robertson and see if we can get some inside info. But either way, we are hyped about Rebel Scum Con. Just very, very, very excited. We really do hope to see you there.
Yeah. All right, so if you are coming to Rebel Scum Con, come find us, and we are going to nerd out all over the place. But speaking of nerding out, I sat down with a friend of mine, Sam Hardy, talking about all things. He's one of my RPG buddies, talking about all things Star Wars. He calls himself a advanced casual fan, but bro is a fan. He is more than advanced casual. And then we're going to do a this or that with lightsaber hilts. So I'm going to send it over to the Interview Cantina. And hello, we are in our Interview Cantina with my good friend Sam Hardy. Sam, welcome to the show. First time. How are you doing?
Good. Glad to be here.
Thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. This podcast is all about getting the perspective of other people on Star Wars, and so we're trying to do that with as many people as possible. Sam and I have known each other for, 8 years now? 7?
8-ish seems right. Yeah, like 2017 thereabouts.
Yeah, long time. Enough to a small child's worth, a young Anakin's worth of time. But we play D&D together. And do you want to give a little intro about yourself, Sam?
Yeah, I'm an actor and waiter working in Brooklyn. Groundbreaking. I guess as far as Star Wars is concerned, I feel like I'm like advanced casual, in sort of that. I've seen all the movies. I've played a number of the video games. I've spent hours on Wikipedia, but I'm not 100% up on like a lot of the shows or like the extended universe, like comics or things of that nature. But I've always loved it.
That's more advanced than casual, but
yeah.
Have you watched Andor season 2 yet?
I have not finished it.
Oh,
I was on a tear there, and I realized as I was going into this, it's like I haven't finished Andor.
Oh, those last 3 episodes are
right. And it's like I've seen all the buzz. Like I kind of know what happens because I'm on Twitter nonstop. So stuff eventually broke out, but I haven't actually gotten through it. And I mean, I love it. That's probably like my,
yeah. Well, maybe when you finish it, we'll get you back on and have you give your Andor review. Well, cool. Yeah, Sam's a very dear friend. I'm very happy. He's the first of my D&D crew to be on the podcast. So, but yeah, let's get into learning about your Star Wars advanced casualness. Where were you when you first saw Star Wars, or what is your first Star Wars memory?
I've got like fragments because we had the original trilogy on VHS, and I'm pretty sure they were like digital remastering. Like I think they were sort of the OG puppets and such.
Yeah.
But I have no idea how old I would have been when I first watched them. I remember we had the like the Empire Strikes Back Monopoly with like the little pewter figurines.
Cool.
But I think like my first most vivid Star Wars memory is when Phantom Menace was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And like they had released the toys before they even released the movie, like they were already out there. And a friend of mine had the toy version of the giant fish that bites into
Oh,
the ship when they're
cool.
going through the core, and it was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And yeah, I think that one really stuck with me. Like I have an attachment to Phantom Menace because it was like it was the Star Wars that was happening when I was a child.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just really cool aesthetic. And I remember playing with that toy and be like, oh, I gotta see this.
Yeah. Did you have the double saber too, as Maul's saber and all that?
I'm sure someone had that in my
Yeah.
friend circle, whipping those around.
Yeah. People give Phantom Menace a bad rap, but it's a good movie.
It came. I feel like it had to kind of go through a valley, and then we sort of, once you see the whole saga as a whole, it's like, okay, that had its place. That was what it needed to be.
Yeah. And without Qui-Gon, I mean,
Oh
do
my
you
God,
even
right.
get the rest of the thing? Well, speaking of Qui-Gons and characters, who is your favorite villain? Your favorite hero?
Favorite hero, probably gotta say Qui-Gon.
Yeah?
Actually, Qui-Gon Jinn. I mean, Liam Neeson's performance just like awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So many great ones across the whole saga. Just like the good acting in these. But yeah, I mean, as the force of balance, or like not even balance, like just to genuinely use on that verge of like, I'm gonna do good even if it's not in alignment with the Jedi code.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's just sort of that what if that hangs around that character of like, if he had lived, if he had been able to train Anakin, what would have happened? What, you know? But
Yeah.
he was wise and cool, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Have you watched Obi-Wan the series yet?
I did. It's been a while because I watched
Yeah.
it shortly after it came out. But
Were you excited to see Qui-Gon come back?
yeah, and especially because I feel like they really kept that under wraps. Like it was like Liam Neeson's not in it. He didn't do anything. He's not going to be. And then it was like,
Yeah.
great.
I love Qui-Gon. Well, on the flip side, who's your favorite villain?
This one was hard. Eventually, it came down to I worship everything that Christopher Lee ever did. So is Dooku, Count Dooku. It's such a cool, like, corrupted. He really encapsulated Space Wizard,
Yeah.
which, you know, obviously. Particularly, there's something he does. The way he holds his hand when he is doing Force lightning is unlike any other. Like, it's such a small detail, but it's like, this guy really looks like he knows. It's that, you know, the Peter Jackson man stabbed in the back, Sauron, everyone knows that story. It's like,
Yeah.
I believe that Christopher Lee knows the experience of shooting lightning out of his hands when I see him do that.
Yeah. I think you're the first person to say Count Dooku on the podcast as
Yeah,
their favorite villain.
He really has. He doesn't have a lot going on. Like, he's not a huge part of Clone Wars, and then of course immediately at the start of Revenge, he, you know.
Yeah. There
Just
is that moment
dropped.
though, even in that moment where he's like, kill him, you know, and he like looks at him like, what, you know, like. And he also has, I think, my favorite line for him is, "Gentlemen, your swords," where he just like calls the lightsaber swords because he's Christopher Lee, and
Of course.
rest in peace, Christopher Lee.
My close second I got a shout on that is
Yeah.
Grievous.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
Grievous rules.
Yeah, I was really excited with this question with you because I feel like you're always so great at playing the morally gray or the villainous character. You do wonderful in your hero characters too, but some of your D&D characters that have been stuck in my mind for eternity have been your morally, you know, just
Love to be evil.
yes. Speaking of characters, who is your favorite random alien and or like background character? You know, this could be like a Cantina-esque. This could be, you know, just random people.
Yeah. So it's funny. I looked these. I had kind of two in mind that I looked up beforehand because I was like, well, maybe they have names and I can throw out the names on the podcast, only to discover that like really extensive appearances in the expanded universe beyond their 20 seconds of the film. But my first one was Aura Singh.
Oh, cool. The bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember I always come back to Phantom Menace and just like being a child and seeing all of these things. And it was just like, here comes this like dusty white Lara Croft sniper. Like, what's her deal?
Yeah.
You know? And then I find out that it's like, oh, there have been numerous comics and stories and Jedi aspiration. I was like, oh, cool, great. So, you know, there really is. There's room
She
for
tried to be a Jedi?
I think I saw just like in a little blurb that she was at one point in training and then got kicked out or left or, you know, and then
That's awesome.
turned to bounty hunting.
Yeah.
And then my other one had to be Cy Snoodles.
Oh, yeah.
The vocalist for, yeah.
She is so creepy.
Right. And I remember like kind of one of the things that stood out most when I first saw the digitally remastered original trilogy was like the upgrade on her that's just like so much more animated, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But it it really sticks in your mind.
Those lips are crazy.
Little red lips.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I think on the podcast before we've talked about Nice Noodles and just how she like kind of gives me the ick in a way, but it's so specific and good. We've talked about you playing villains before, so I'm curious about this next question. What color, if you, Sam Hardy, were to have a lightsaber, what color would it be?
I gotta say red.
Oh, yeah?
I feel like, especially now sort of where we are in the canon of the notion of like your spirit bleeding into the lights, like it changes when you change. I feel like, maybe I'd start with a green one, balanced, meditative, striving for wisdom. But if I were in the Star Wars universe and I had those powers, I don't think I could resist the call, maybe like Anakin of I'm going to force the world to be good.
Yeah.
And that's not how it's supposed to go.
That's
Red
awesome.
Saber.
Red saber.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next question. I know you have a couple of tattoos, so if you already have one, you can answer that. But if you could have a Star Wars tattoo, what would it be?
Yeah. It's funny. I'm tying so many things together. I've always really loved the design of Dooku's lightsaber hilt. Mm-hmm. That little curve, and it's got the little spike on the front. And I thought it would be really cool to have either like one or both, like just on the outside of the wrist, just have like a little one of those. Like I know some people kind of get like a dagger or something there, and I'm like, Dooku lightsaber.
That's cool.
Yeah. Because I don't know if there's any other like insignias or like quotes or anything. I think definitely it would be somebody's lightsaber on there.
That's awesome. Yeah, Dooku saber is, legendary. So apparently he also chose the angle of it because he was a fencer, and he was like,
of course.
Yeah. Because what can't Christopher Lee do? So all right, well, moving on to the next one. What is your favorite Star Wars story? Now, guests in the past have done this as either, in Star Wars or outside of Star Wars and with, like, an experience with fandom. And you can do one or both.
I feel like one, just maybe more obscure. This is the advanced casual. I remember the animated Clone Wars, the Tartakovsky one, the 2D one. There's this amazing scene, so many amazing scenes, but one where basically Anakin goes on like a vision quest. And he sort of foresees his fall, and like there's the thing with the arm getting cut off and the corruption, and it consumes his loved ones. It's all this like very, very trippy thing. Honestly, really, that whole series, I have not watched a lot of the more recent the canon Clone Wars, but so much of the way that series shaped the characters and sort of did the bridge between Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith, that, like, I guess as a tale, I think that's my favorite Star Wars bit.
Yeah.
Really nothing outside. I guess I've never been like a huge... I haven't had too many community experiences with Star Wars. You know, it's always kind of been, aside from we've played the RPG a few times, which was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I might be running that for maybe even the same thing. Well, you didn't get to run that one, so maybe I'll bring you in for that. For Halloween, we want to do a Star Wars RPG, and my co-host wants to do the one where I took them into Vader's castle. So if you want to be a part of that and play some D&D online, we would love to have you. So,
I'd be delighted.
Well, that's cool. So last question of our normal interview before we get to our ridiculous Rathtar question. What does Star Wars mean to you?
It's I appreciate it so much as it's kind of like a living folktale. It's for better or for worse, it really is kind of this American legend.
Yeah.
That's happening right now, that's being created right now. It responds to fan feedback. Again, sometimes that's been a good thing, sometimes it's been a bad thing. But it's, like, we think about it, like, it's on the level of, you think about Tolkien and Middle Earth, and like that's sort of a thing that he created, and it froze, and it's his vision, and everyone who's added on to it since has sort of been trying to just get into where he was.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel like Star Wars, like George Lucas created it, and it very quickly escaped his influence, and from what I can tell, he always seems to have been appreciative and accepting, and just thought it was cool that people liked his thing. And it's this whole thing that builds, and it's stories and games and comics and novels, and it's happening now. We're making it now, and I just think that's such a cool thing to be a part of and around, and to watch it becoming.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I love that. Yeah, he was always very supportive. He was, if he wanted to do a fan fiction, he'd be like, yeah, sure. And then if he wanted to use it, he'd use it, and if he didn't, he wouldn't. So. Yeah. And now it's so funny because all of that stuff is coming back around in the Disney era, because people like you or me were on Wikipedia as kids, looking up all these legend stuff, and then now they're like, yeah, we'll throw Thrawn in. He was in that book. Why not?
You guys seem to like this.
Yeah. That's a great answer. All right, so now we have come to the ridiculous Rathtar question. Now there's no losers for this question, because if you get it right, you got your nerd cred. You've answered the very hard trivia. If you get it wrong, it proves that you have a life. So the ridiculous Rathtar question this time, being a fan of the Phantom Menace, I went to searching my brains and my co-host brains for this one. What is the name of the main pilot of Padme's yacht? Coincidentally, he was also the first toy to ever be produced for Phantom Menace.
Ooh. Captain.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing.
Yeah. I'll give you. So he's the guy that literally, like, Anakin comes on the ship and he goes, "Hi, I'm so and so," and Anakin goes, "Oh, Anakin Skywalker, pleasure to meet you." You know that guy?
Oh my god! I can see like the hat.
Mm-hmm.
And
All right. Well, the name
Lost.
is Rick O'Lee. So, but congratulations, you have a life.
Okay.
You are a normal human.
Just means it's time to watch it again.
Yep. I love me some Phantom Menace. Well, that ends our normal interview questions, but Sam is, when playing D&D together, Sam is the best at describing things of, I think, any of my friends and players. You are the best at, like, I like to go after you when the DM chooses to ask us for our descriptions, because you pick, like, the tiniest details to, like, in, like, your outfit or your weapons, to be like, oh yeah, we have, this breastplate with this, and this, and I'm always like, yeah, that's so beautiful. And if I go before you, I'm like, yeah, he's got, like, a cool sword and, like, armor and red hair. And then if I go after you, I'm like, oh no, he has woven armor. And, like, just hearing you describe things, I'm like, yeah, that, like, it makes me a better creative when playing. And so I thought that we would do a this or that. So you're going to choose one, and then that one will move on to the next round, almost like a bracket of, versus bracket of Jedi weapons, of lightsabers. So I'm going to share the screen so that you can see it. Can you see the first lightsaber?
Yes.
Cool. So this is Baylan Skoll's lightsaber from the Ahsoka series.
Right.
So it's either this one. So your first this or that is Baylan Skoll or Cal Kestis from the Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, I had not seen this one.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, like, mesh flare coming away.
Yeah, so this was a double-bladed lightsaber that was eventually, it was his master's that was cut in half, and so he only has the half.
Nice. I
Yeah.
gotta play that. That's actually of the games I've played. I've never touched on those. I kinda...
You have to, Sam. I've cried in both games. It's so
Oh
good.
my God.
Of the Star Wars games to come out recently, like, top tier.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look into that. I'm actually gonna go with Baylan Skoll though. Here.
Baylan Skoll. What do you like about it?
I like that it's kind of got. See, especially now I'm imagining, like, the size of it in his hands. It's massive, but I like the little kind of cross guard up at the top without being like a full-on, like, Kylo Ren cross guard. It's just got that little accent that suggests, like, a Western sword,
Cool. All right, so Baylan Skoll or Count Dooku.
Count Dooku.
Of
Timeless.
course. Yeah.
Flawless.
Yeah, I just am now realizing also that the switch for the blade is on the very back end. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, we've talked about that hilt enough, but so Count Dooku's moving on. Count Dooku or the Darksaber from The Mandalorian and the Clone Wars.
Gonna stick with Dooku.
I
I love the blade of the Darksaber and the way that it is not just your typical, like, cylindrical lightsaber blade, but the hilt is just sort of flat,
Yeah, that is 100% fair. All right, so Count Dooku or the Inquisitor's blade. How do you get a double saber in here? This one also spins, if you don't remember.
I'm gonna say the spinning always kind of threw me off. And also, just, like, when you have that ring around, I always imagine it like, how do you deal with, like, your wrist and your grip? Sticking with Dooku.
All right, so Dooku or Kanan Jarrus.
Remind me of who that is.
So he's from Rebels, the Rebels TV series. Freddie Prinze Jr. does the character. So this one's only ever been animated. This is a picture of the one that they did at Galaxy's Edge, but it has has that cool little emitter at the top.
Kinda, yeah. Gotta stay with my Dooku here.
All right,
You might take it to the end. I
He
don't know.
might.
Let's see.
I have a couple in here that I think that might surprise you. So Dooku or Princess Leia.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I had never seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it was aware that at some point in the training is there a flashback in something?
Yeah, there's a flashback in
shows
the
her?
very last movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
This
Let's
is
jump to Leia.
Yeah.
I love it's got this lovely like symmetry, and there's a lot of detail without being like busy.
Yeah. I also love the rose gold in it.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
color.
Oh, it's so pretty. All right, so Dooku's out. Surprising. So Leia or
That switch on the back. I'd forgotten that aspect of it.
Leia or Mace Windu.
Mace Windu,
Yeah.
silver and gold.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Do you know the engraving that this lightsaber has? Have you heard that story?
Please tell me it says. Wait, can we swear on this?
I'll bleep you, but yeah.
Does it say bad mother?
Yeah, it does. He had it engraved on there. All right. So Mace.
Because I heard
Oh, sorry.
there's
Go ahead.
also the like, he wanted it to be purple so he could find himself, and George
Yeah.
Lucas was like, I guess.
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, I think the story is that George is like, all right, you can have blue or green. He goes, can I have purple? He's like, yeah, I guess. Yeah, Mace Windu, powerful Jedi.
Windu.
Purple lightsaber is iconic. All right, so Mace Windu or the OG Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Gonna stick with Mace Windu.
Ooh, surprising.
I think original trilogy, like, they hadn't quite figured out everything that was possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of cool ideas here, but then, like, by the time you get back to Mace Windu, it's like, oh yeah, this was like, they designed a lightsaber for a guy.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, all right. So Mace Windu or Palpatine.
I don't know if I'd ever gotten a good look at this.
It's an interesting one.
That doesn't. Oof. Yeah, Mace Windu. That's unsettling.
I don't know if it's the way the picture is. I will probably flip it sideways when I put this in, but there's something about it, the way it's pictured, it's very unsettling.
It's lascivious. I don't. Yeah, no.
Yeah. All right. So
Which I guess fits. It suits him.
yeah. He also has two of them, which is kind of interesting. All right. So Mace Windu or the Stranger Chimere.
Oh, the Stranger. Just jaw dropped.
Uh-huh.
Just seeing everything that could do, and just the surprises, like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's...
And the 3-hole punch. So were you a fan of Acolyte now that we're talking about Chimere?
I was. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoyed it immensely.
Me too. Oh, yeah, that scene is so good.
Are we? I'm not even caught up on your podcast. I'm so sorry, but
It's all good.
Are they getting a season 2? Has that been renewed? Have we?
No, it was
No,
canceled.
that's gone.
We
for
started the podcast when that news came out, and for the first few episodes,
Right.
we were trying to get, like, hashtag renew the Acolyte and all that. Because he, just for Manny, I mean, like, the actress who plays Osha May is great, but Manny Jacinto is just so good, too. Like, the whole cast deserves to come back,
Yeah.
and some great lightsabers. All right, so the Stranger moves on. The Stranger or the umbrella lightsaber from Visions. Have you seen this episode of
not
Visions?
watched that yet. That's absurd.
It spins.
It has to. How could it not?
Yeah.
As great as that is, I'll stay grounded with the Stranger's
Well, if you,
Darth teeth.
yeah, I highly recommend Visions. They got a different anime company per episode, and they were like, do whatever you want. And this is what one of them came up with, and
Great.
it's amazing.
I
All
would
right.
love to see
Go ahead.
more of this. Do we get a lightsaber whip in the Acolyte? Am I remembering that correctly?
We
Does
do.
that- Yeah. Let's get some more
More fun ones.
esoteric weaponry.
Yeah.
In the canon.
All right, so we're sticking with the Stranger. It's Strangers or Darth Vader.
I think I'll stick with the Stranger. I
Mm-hmm.
like Vader. It's streamlined. It does, it has his energy on it, but it's that same thing I said about the OG Obi-Wan of like, they just kind of put it together and it was like, I guess this is it now.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So sticking with the Stranger, or the lightsaber whip.
Ah, there it is. As much as I love that concept, the Stranger, the knife that comes off the end is just hard to beat.
Yeah. And that is the end of the gauntlet. So your
There he
winner,
is.
your favorite, is the Stranger.
Coming in late, but really swept it. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, Dooku lasts there for a long time, so. Are you happy with your decision?
I am.
Cool. All right. Well, that.
Since it came out to be something red in the end.
Yeah, it matches your colors. That ends our interview. Thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything you would like to plug, or if you want the people to find you or follow you, you can do that. This is your open space, so you can do that here.
Yeah, nothing in particular. I mean, I guess I should shout out. I do a lot of Shakespeare here in the city. I do a lot of classic theater, the American Theater of Actors in Midtown, and Stag and Lion Theater, not far from there. If anyone's into that, if you're in the city, come check us out. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Glam Vulture, all lowercase, all one word, and I'm putting together my more professional website, but that's still not quite done. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm slowly chewing my way through all your podcast and all the shows, and
It's a lot of
I love it.
episodes, so.
I think it's so cool that you're doing this. I'm
Thanks, man.
very proud of you.
Thank you. Next week we hit a year of doing it, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So. Well, awesome. Well, it's great to see you, and I'm going to send it back over to either me or me and Matt. And we're back. Thank you so much, Sam, for being on the podcast. It means a bunch to me and Matt. We might have you on for the RPG that we will do for Halloween, which we're going to plug here is going to be, I will lead it, and it will be a journey into Vader's castle for some nice Halloween-y Star Wars. But yeah, Matt, let them know how they can get involved with what they just saw and what they just watched, unless you have anything else to say. Either way, to you, Matt.
Yeah, so you heard us talk about Rebel Scum Con a bunch. If you're going to be at Rebel Scum Con, or if you have questions about it, or if you have questions about anything, reach out to us on Instagram. I'm on Twitter sometimes. Instagram's the bigger one. Get in the comments below. You have to say like and subscribe. I know it's annoying, but help us defeat the YouTube robot monkey that sometimes acknowledges that we make content and shows it to people, and sometimes doesn't. But, or the way, because we're old, forceofothersradio@gmail.com. Reach out to us there. But, and if nothing else, just yell really loud, and we'll hear your vibes in the Force. But, Zach, you got anything else to say?
No.
Okay.
Should I take
Without further ado,
And remember, the force of others will be with you.
always.
The force of others.
And you can come to Rebel Scum Con! Sorry, hang on. Give me 1 second.